Hey guys. Oh, I gotta start. Gotta start with some applause. Get us going. Hey all. So great to see you guys. Again, you have joined a Friday Live here on Jill and Beauty Therapy. We do this every single Friday at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. And if you're somewhere else, including outside of the United States, and you managed to get this and make it here, an extra special hello to you, because I do not know what those time zones would prove to be. Anyway, I do tend to get you all over, and that is one of the things about YouTube I absolutely love, is being able to just sort of all gather from all parts of the United States, including areas of the world. It just blows my mind every time. All right, guys, so today we are going to be talking about wigs a little here, in the beginning at least. And I'm going to just kind of, this was actually a suggestion from some of you, just so you know, I do utilize these that I get. And somebody asked, hey, do you have certain criteria? Sorry, my Loki is just really on point today when it comes to his guard dog duties downstairs. And I do have my door open, unfortunately, but that's so my animals can come and go so they don't bother me so much. And I'm really second guessing that decision altogether. I think they do better if I just lock them out, but we'll see how this goes today. They may end up being booted. Anyway, I've been asked if I have a criteria, so to speak, of how I go about choosing wigs that I purchase for myself. And I guess I really do. It's sort of a mentally in there thing, and I don't really think about it as sort of a checklist. But I do I think vaguely do have something like that. So I thought I'd share that with you today. And first I want to say hi to those of you that are saying hi over here. This is the highlight of my Friday, really, is incorporating you guys all into this and being able to be just at a more personable level with you guys. So hello, Danielle. Nice to see you from Tyler, Texas. Well, let's give her a nice warm welcome. We have Liz Lyons. Always so nice to see you out there, Liz. I appreciate you showing up. And we have Deidre from Oklahoma. We have Lisa from St. Louis or Louis, St. Louis. Okay. And then we have Marietta. I'm going to say hi to Letitia. Nice to see you again. We have Kim. Nice to see you again too, from Kansas. And we have Stacy from Orange County, California. Hi, Vicki. So glad to see you again. No kidding, really, from Russia. I could not begin to pronounce your name, unfortunately. If I did, I think I would butcher it so bad you would have rathered. I didn't try. But thank you so much. I'm going to really give you an extra special applause. Just amazing. We have Jamie, hello from Chicago. Judy from New York. Diane Brundage, nice to see you again, Diane. We've got someone from Ohio. We've got Kathy from Ohio. I'm just going to go ahead and start putting some of you up here so I can make sure this works. Nice to see you. Oh, this is apparently a new thing for me now. Okay, I'll just kind of like the queen. That's what we'll do. Sue, hello. I don't know what my hands are doing. They have a mind of their own. Okay, that's unusual, but let's just throw that in there. Judith, good morning to you too. We have Sue Harrington from Georgia. Hello. We have Kim from Florida. Nice to see you, Kim. I sometimes skip over you guys. I rewatch these so I can just really regroup with all of what you're talking about over here. And inevitably I miss someone. I always feel so bad. We have RS. Oh, I'm so glad you finally got to join us here on a live stream on our Friday Lives. That's awesome. I'm going to go ahead and put that up there. No, not the crickets. Not the crickets. We have Soror. Is that how you pronounce that? Hello. Nice to see you. Oh, Sherry. Sherry is that North Dakota? Welcome. We have Catherine Lundgren from BC. Nice that you joined us today. We have Pam from, we didn't say, Oh, and you tried the Brandywine hairspray. I believe I've tried that one. I'd love to know what you thought about that one. Leora from North California. We have Lori Sample. Hello from Kansas. Let me scroll a little bit here. We have someone from Ontario, Canada. We have Janice. Hi, Janice. And then we have Kim from Florida. Oh, she's turning 60 today. Can we all just say happy birthday? Happy birthday. And how wonderful that we get to spend a little bit of that with you today. All right, guys, I hope. Oh, thank you, Vicki, for wishing her happy birthday. All right, so I said hi to Judith. Did I say hi to Judith? Sometimes they pop up out of order here, and so they don't necessarily go in a, for the most part they do, but Ecamm brings your guys' comments over to this platform. So not only is there a little delay, but I noticed that the order, sometimes somebody will pop up in some random place. So I really apologize if I somehow missed you, but hopefully I'll pick you up at some point here. Thank you, Danielle, for wishing her happy birthday. Hello, Beth. Nice to see you. And we have Judy here as well. Awesome. Okay, nice. You guys are awesome. Okay, so yes, guys, we are going to just, and you know, if you have certain things that you look for, please share with us, because we may have some people out there that are very, very new. And even though this is sort of a learned thing as your journey progresses, because in the beginning, honestly, I just was open to everything. And I think that's great, because that's really where I learned a lot. I started experimenting with different cap features, different brands. However, I really don't wander too far from my favorites. It seems like when I do, that's the one that I end up sending back. So I don't know. There just must be very certain things about my favorites that I like, and maybe I haven't even put my finger on it. I'm not sure. Hi, Kim. Yes, that is I just love that you're here with us on your birthday. Oh, and we have NT, your average princess. And yay, you finally caught alive. That's awesome. I love that. I love it. Okay. It's okay. You are actually, Janice, not late to the party at all. You have arrived just at the perfect time, because we really haven't started quite yet. Okay, so yeah, guys, when you first start, it's really difficult to come up with criteria, right? Because you haven't yet tried anything. You haven't crossed anything off your list. You're just hoping that you choose something that will excite you and have a good experience. And that's what I want and wish for all of you as well. If you have yet to get that first one, or if you are pondering, of course, I want your journey to start off really positively and have a great first experience with that wig. But just don't fret if that has not happened to you and you are frustrated because you have received maybe even a wig or two and you are beside yourself because you can't figure out what's going on. Why are you not liking this? Why is it not looking like you were hoping it would? And there are a lot of different reasons why that's probably happening. And most of them really are because you are just not used to seeing yourself with a really nice head of hair. And but there are other reasons. And I have touched on all of those in prior lives and prior videos. So I encourage you to search, especially if you're new, in my playlist. And you can just search for that right on that search bar at the landing page on my YouTube landing page for new to wigs, and that will bring up a lot of things, hopefully, that you will find helpful. And one of those, I believe I entitled it, Why is Everything Wiggy? Why, or something like that. The word wiggy, isn't it? And I talk about those things and what it could be, what it most likely is. Most of the time, your first wig isn't necessarily that really great first experience. So don't get too down if that happened to you, because that is mostly what happens, to be honest. Sometimes it takes a few tries before you get that one that you really just like, oh my gosh, I love this, you know, so that's normal, completely and totally normal. But I hope that through some of what you can see and find here on YouTube, different resources that are available to you, that hopefully what you learn will eliminate a lot of that from happening. So take what I am going to be telling you right now on sort of my mental checklist of what I kind of go through when I look for purchasing a wig for myself, with a grain of salt, because these are my own personal sort of things and yours may be very different. So I'm going to start it off first by, and this is something you just don't know until you have experimented with different designers, but honestly, I think the very first thing I do if I'm looking to purchase is I go to my favorite designers first. And I will usually, if I'm really looking for something new, because sometimes I'll be on YouTube and I won't think I'm really looking for something new. And then I'll see a wig review and go, oh my gosh, that's really pretty. And all of a sudden it turns into a wish list and it may go in my cart. It may sit there for a while until I can get it, but it can happen like that too. But if I'm really just like, I really want something new and I'm not quite sure, I will go to, my favorite reputable online wig shop. And there are a few out there. I'm going to recommend wigsbypattiespearls.com, of course. And then I will search for John Renault and I'll see what's in there. And I will also search for Raquel Welch. Those are my two favorite wig designers. And I find that automatically for me crosses off a lot of sort of failed attempts because I know their caps. I know how they fit for the most part. There are variances for sure, it seems, from style to style sometimes. Absolutely, I have found that to be true. But for the most part, I'm familiar with the fit. I love their lace fronts, so automatically I'm not going to be disappointed there. I'm also familiar with my favorite colors in those lines, so I can cross that off as well. Unless I'm feeling really adventurous and really, excited to try something new. But that is a big gamble. It really is. And once you hone in on your favorite color or colors in a line, you've sort of really it's sort of that big gap that can cause a lot of heartache, because if you love the style and the length, it's working for you, but you hate that color, you're never going to like it. So finding sort of those colors in those brands that you're interested in is the biggest battle, I think. And so again, I search for the Raquel Welch, the John Renault for the most part, because I'm familiar with what my favorite colors are in those lines. So I can just not worry about that. And the fibers, I'm very familiar with their fibers, so I'm not going to get surprised there, And as for something else that's on my list here as density, that can vary from wig to wig. So I'll let you know certain things that I sort of look for to give me a clue as to that density here in a little bit when I get to that one. Can I go and see what you guys are doing real quick? I'm gonna peruse over here really quickly. So we have Danielle. Hi, Danielle. First of all, no, why am I thinking I want to do the crickets? I don't know. I'm going to go ahead and plop this up here. Come on, you can do it. There we go. Is the permatease scratchy? I have a Noriko Kate. That is a cute wig. And the permatease makes me crazy. Yes, permatease can be a little scratchy. Where it gets me, especially on the closed cap situation, where most Noriko wigs are, that permatease sort of starts getting right up to the very front of the hairline there. And if you kind of pull it back, you can even see the tiny little fibers sort of curling around. Those do scratch me and they do drive me a little nuts, I have to say. Now, if it's the perimeter that's bothering you, sometimes wearing a wig grip can help. There's a little bit of a barrier between that, but I don't find that to help me much because, most of us don't if it's the perimeter that's bothering you, most of us don't nor should you, wear your wig grip right up to your hairline. It's definitely usually scooted back, and that way you don't see the edge of your wig grip right there in the perimeter. So, I do scooch it back a bit if I'm going to wear a wig grip, which many of you know is not my first choice. But I have to on Noriko wigs because the It Stays doesn't secure to that closed cap sort of lacing material that they have on most of their wigs. So wig grip is a must for me. But, you know, I guess there's a way that it could be maneuvered to where maybe that would help you. Wig socks, it's sort of stockings, sort of that you can put underneath your wigs, can definitely put a barrier there. Again, the perimeter, not super helpful because you're going to scoot that back as well. But if you're having itching kind of up in other areas where that permatease is, you would probably find some really good relief wearing some kind of wig sock underneath the wig. The kind that I would recommend to reduce the itching would be your nylon material. It looks just like a knee-high nylon, really. That gives you a little bit more of a barrier than, say, the netting kind. Anyway, you might try that. But yes, permatease, especially if it's heavy permatease, I find that it definitely sort of crawls around the perimeter for me on those closed caps. Otherwise, it doesn't bother me because most of the time, if there's permatease in other areas of the wig, that cap is closed and you shouldn't necessarily feel it anywhere. But there's different cap constructions that have permatease that may have open wefts, and you can feel it for sure because that permatease can be even throughout the wig where you have open wefting. Okay. All right, I'm going to go ahead and scroll just a little bit here. I do, Diane. I do have a wig on right now. It's currently my favorite wig. This is Spotlight by Raquel Welch in the color Shaded Biscuit. This is the longest wig I really have ever tried. And I don't know why. I am really into the longer wigs lately. When I have been looking at wigs to put in my future wish list, I lately have been looking at the medium-ish longer ones. I guess because, I don't know, this is the first time I think I've been truly enamored by the longer wigs. Over the summer it was short pixies, and I have never been interested in short pixies. But last summer, I was all about that. Man, I just had so much fun doing that. So now I guess it's long. I went from one extreme to the other, and it's the winter when I'm gonna, want to do the longer ones because they tend to be a little warmer. Okay, did I say this is Shaded Biscuit? Okay, because that's the color that this is. I can't remember if I did or not. Okay, I'm going to go ahead. We have a lot of questions. We're going to look at a couple here, and then I'll get back. It's not that long of a list at all. It won't take me long to get through it. But some of you tuned in probably to hear that, so I'll get to that here in a bit. How do I keep the wig cap from slipping? I have the knee-high kind, which helps my itching, but the wig cap slides right off my head. Me too. That's why one of the reasons, yeah. I went a little time when I did wear one of those under because it does help on the itching. And you know what I had to do because it would fall. By the time I was taking my wig off, the wig, it was off my head pretty much. And so annoying, so annoying. So I would do the It Stays like I do, and I would kind of put my wig sock back, do the It Stays around the perimeter, and then kind of attach the front of the perimeter of the wig sock to the It Stays, but allowing enough open space there for it to also work on my wig. So that is what I ended up having to do to keep those dang wig socks from moving throughout the day. And that worked really well. Eventually though, I just stopped wearing that because I am super, I just am zoned in, very focused, I guess, very sensitive on knowing what's going on under my wig. And it was yet one more thing that was under there. Even if I don't wear wig grips, and I just am so much more comfortable just having the It Stays, a low pony, and calling it good. So eventually I stopped wearing one. Okay, before I, hold on. Yeah, I know, Lisa. I know. That is the big trade-off with the longer fibers and because they're grazing your clothes. When you turn, they're sticking there. So then it causes friction, and friction is synthetic fiber's worst enemy, whether it's friction with each other, friction along your clothing. That's why the nape of any length of wig will break down first and get scratchy and stiff and stick together and start looking broken down. It's that friction that is the enemy. So when you get the medium length and the longer wigs, you're having more of that happen by nature, just through moving, whatever. They are going to break down much faster than your shorter wigs, for sure. And I'm going to be talking here in a bit about the heat-friendly fibers, which I prefer them, but they will 100% be so much more delicate and more prone to friction damage. So throughout the day, before it starts getting really bad, I will, start at the bottom and just really carefully work my way up and sort of detangle through the day as it goes, rather than wait until it is just one big snarly mess. And then it's going to take a lot of delicate, being much more delicate, doing some of it even with your fingers before you even take this to it, using some detangler spray or some sort of protectant, sort of silicone based, that will help to protect the fibers from all of that that's happening. So the other thing to keep in mind is that once these fibers have stretched out, so that's why it's so important to start really carefully. You could even start it kind of with your fingers at the end, sort of really carefully work your way up, because the minute you stretch out one of these fibers, you may have seen it happen, is that if you pull it out or whatever, it will stretch, but then the minute you de-stretch it, it doesn't go back. It's stretched out now. It's pretty much ruined at that point. And you have to be just super careful, super careful with how you comb these out as well, because the minute you start doing that, if you start a little too high and you're kind of forcing it down, boy, everything under that comb is just really getting ruined, and it's unrepairable. You can smooth it out with a little heat, with a little steam, and it will revive it to a point, but just be really careful. And that is the downside of having a longer wig. They are more upkeep. They really are. And you have to pay attention to them through the day as you wear them. Whereas a shorter wig, put a little hairspray in there, you might just do this just to keep it close to your nape through the day as sort of second nature, but you don't have to worry about them, really. Okay. All right, guys. So let me get back to this really quickly. Okay, so the designer. Yep, you will figure that out as you will find your favorites as time goes on. So that knocks off a lot right there. So the next thing that I really pay attention to along these lines, and you're going to think I'm crazy, is I will actually do their filter in the web page, and I will filter heat-friendly fibers. I want to just see the heat-friendly fibers for the most part. Now, I do have several wigs that aren't, but if I'm really wanting to look and find something kind of at the top of my list that I know I'm really going to love, then I do actually search first for the HD or heat-friendly fibers in both Raquel Welch and John Renault. Raquel Welch has much more to choose from. John Renault mostly has synthetic fibers that are not heat-friendly. And I'm aware of that. But first, I just like to see, have I tried this style in John Renault that's heat-friendly? So I'm aware that they break down quickly, much more quickly than the regular synthetic. I'm aware of that, first of all. So that I'm aware of, and I realize this, so I try to do things to prolong the life of that wig by rotating it. I actually would love to get another one of these, probably in the same color, maybe shaded cappuccino, because I also love that color. So when I do want to wear this, which is a lot, I can rotate them, and I don't always have to put this specific unit on my head every time I feel in the mood to wear it. It will really prolong the life of both of them. But that is costly, and you really got to sort of prioritize that. Do I want to try something different, or do I want to get another one that I know I love? That's a battle, isn't it? Because it's exciting to try something new. Sorry, that's Loki again. So fiber, I do search for that. I know. And then if I don't find anything, then I'll just put it all in and I'll be like, okay, well, I'll probably have to utilize some dry shampoo because the HD fibers are less shiny. They're more realistic. If you're new here and you don't understand the difference, you can take a little heat to an HD fiber. And when I say a little, I mean a little. Like you technically, by directions, you can give up to 350 degrees. I've never had to go that high. I err on the side of conservative on that, and I'll do 260, 280. But I actually very seldom alter my heat-friendly styles into anything different. I hardly ever take heat to them. So why do I like them? They're just more realistic to my eye. They move a little more realistically. They aren't overly shiny. I don't have to treat them for that. And I just like the way the colors, they seemed, in my eye, the color seems to have more dimension to me. For instance, shaded praline to me looks so much nicer in the HD fiber. It just has more dimension. And so, yeah, I know. That's a big trade-off, isn't it? Many people will not have an HD fiber wig in their collection, and that's understandable, really. So then the next thing I look for once I hone in on that is the shape, the cut, the style, and I try to look at it past how it's styled in that manufactured photo. Many times they don't show you much. Many times it's almost the worst possible way that wig can look. Have you noticed that? Those manufactured photos, for the most part, go one of two ways. They're awful, and it really is. Like, if you still like it by the way it looks, then you might actually like it because they're usually horrible. Or they're so overly styled that it is like, whoa, this is nothing like it looked when I took it out of the box. It can go both ways. I would love to see more in the middle, like let's not just plop it on the model's head and call it good, for cripe's sakes. So then what happens, and we all do this, right? So I find one in the brand, that I like. So I know I know what color I'm probably gonna get. So that's off the list. I know I'm gonna say it has a lace front. I know I'm gonna like that. What about the style, the cut? Then I go to YouTube and I will search for that specific brand and style, and I will look and watch every single wig review that I can find. I don't care if it's 2 minutes long on someone's phone and it's hard to see. I will watch them all because I always get something helpful from every single one of them. Whether it's, oh, I never looked at that color. That is out in the sunlight. That looks really pretty. I might consider that. And it will have nothing to do with my original reason for trying to see if I like the actual style. But yeah, you will find something helpful, I think, pretty much, with every single one that you can find. So I do that. And then hopefully I'll find, someone who's moving it around, and I can sort of decipher what those layers are doing and what the style looks like. And I'll get a better sense rather than just look at those manufactured photos. So then it's like, okay, either that looks really heavy, or it just doesn't have the shape that I thought it would. I don't think that I would look good in that. So I either put it on my list or I take it off. And so then when I'm looking at all of those different videos, I will look and pay attention to the density, because to me, the density is going to be what pushes it to, it looks really nice and realistic. And so I brought an example of one of the things that I mean by that. It's a topper, it's not a wig, but I look for it in both. If there is some monofilament, I can get a better sense of what that density is probably like, at least up here where I am most sort of zoned in on myself personally. I want it to be actually a little sparse up there. I want it to look like you almost panic a little when you take it out of the box and you put your fingers under there. That to me is a good sign. I know that seems weird, but it is, because I want to know that if I paid for that feature of monofilament, which gives you a really super nice, realistic scalp experience and look, where you part it, it's going to look like your scalp. You pay for that feature. It's part of that cost. Well, by George, I want to see that realistic look. And it really irritates me when it's so dense up there that when I part it, I really can't see the monofilament. I paid for that feature. I want to see it. So here's, when it comes to that, because density also can mean other things as well. But when it comes to that, that's really kind of my real big focus. So here is a topper by John Renault. This is the Easy Part XL HD. Okay, so if you were to take this out, you might, if you're just not familiar, you might look at this and you might think, oh, wow. Wait, I'm trying to get is it going to focus? There we go. Hold on. Okay, do you see my fingers under here? You see that? Okay, that is excellent. That is really nice. You could almost see through it, really. You almost can see completely through it. Beautiful, beautiful. That's what I want to see in my wigs too. If it has this full monofilament or even a side monofilament, just a part with the monofilament, I want to see that. I don't want to really have that so dense that it's beside the point. It's like I could have just picked a closed cap wig at this point. So that's really important to me, and I want to be able to see that monofilament in there. Density also, one way that you can, especially when it comes to the mid to longer length wigs, you can look at the weight. And usually the weight is always listed on the website under all of the specs. And that's usually in ounces, and it's going to give you an idea as to what the all over weight is. And that can help with a wig like this to decipher sort of the density, overall density of the wig. One of the things I love about this wig is the density is amazing. It's really just very realistic. If I were to part this in the back, you almost can really see right to my neck, and yet you can't see the wefts. It's done very well, but it is a very realistic sort of density to this, even though it's quite a long wig. Plus, it's not that heavy. Sometimes they can be very, very heavy. So, another thing that goes into the realism. Oh, I accidentally, I think, put you up here. Hi, Sherry. So yeah, it is the denier, and I'm okay with different deniers. Some wigs are very, very, very fine individual fibers. Others are just a little bit, just a little bigger or thicker, for lack of a better word. Synthetic fibers aren't round, they're flat, actually, if you were to look at them in a telescope. So they're nothing like human hair in that that's round, but these are actually very flat. But still, the denier can differ from, sort of brand to brand. For instance, Belle Tress in general uses a very fine sort of denier fiber for their wigs, gives a very wispy look. Noriko can go on the other end where it's a little heavier. Noriko fibers are workhorses, and they will last you for a long time. And I think it has a lot to do with that denier. So I'm really sort of all over the place. I can do it all as long as it's realistic in the overall density, and all my other features are looking good. So yeah, but that can make a difference on how it looks to you. How it looks to your eye is that denier. And sort of that individual, sort of the fiber, and what that all over look brings you can definitely be something that's important to you. Okay, so the other thing is I do have certain things that I do prefer in my wigs when it comes to those cap features. And again, when you're new, you're going to experiment with all this, and I definitely recommend you do, because you may prefer the exact opposite of what I'm about to say here. I do prefer a lace front, and I'll choose a really nice lace front, because I have had some that are not nice. A really nice lace front over any monofilament. If it has a lace front and no monofilament and some permatease up there, I will choose that over monofilament and no lace front. Why? Well, because if I pull it up and away, I have that really nice lace front. If I want to clip it to the side, I have that lace front and it looks like it's growing right out of my head. And it starts the illusion off really for others right away. And I feel more comfortable if it's a nice lace front in general. And it's okay that I don't have any monofilament up here. I can go further with that illusion by lifting the fibers off the cap, using some hairspray, styling it, whatever. It doesn't bother me as much. So I will choose a lace front over any monofilament. You may be completely different. Now, I have many wigs that do not have any lace front and that don't have any monofilament, and I love them. They usually have bangs. They're a style that I can, sort of wear in that way. So the lace front wouldn't be seen. Why pay for that feature then? It's all about, for me, how is the density overall on that wig? What are the fibers like? Do I like the color? Yada, yada. And so there you go. Okay, my final thing that I look for, and a lot of this is because I'm familiar with those things already, because in the beginning, I kind of search for those brands that I'm aware of, and that's color. If it's a brand I'm not familiar with, I will actually look for color first, and if I don't find anything I like, I move on. It's like, I'll even search on YouTube. It's like, what does this really look like? And I'll search for that color on YouTube and I'll look at it. And if I do that a few times through a few of their colors because I'm not familiar and I'm not seeing anything that really captures me, then I move on and I make a mental note. Unless they come out with something new, color-wise, I probably won't be going there. But one thing that is a big, huge criteria for me, and I don't care if it's a darker color, but I tend to go for blondes, roots. I have to have a root. And I know there are people who don't like that at all. But to me, it's all about the illusion, and it really does push it. It, to me, pushes it into that's got to be real. And I also like that root because it can hide things. It can hide some of those wefts if they're blown around in the wind, and it sort of gives this nice sort of base that does hide things like that. So I do prefer roots. And that is my mental checklist, you guys. Those are the things that I do when I start looking for a wig. I've also had somebody ask, hey, do you have a strategy on how you went around to build your collection of wigs? And, for instance, she gave the example of, do you tend to stick to a certain color or a length so it doesn't look like you have all these different, so it's not obvious you're wearing a wig. And I have to be honest, from the very beginning, I never had any strategy. It's just like, that looks cute. Oh my gosh, I got to have that. So no, I just wear all different lengths. It depends on what the mood suits me that day. How much I want to be bothered. For instance, if I had one of those days, probably wouldn't be wearing this one. And so no, I think for me, that's kind of the fun of wearing wigs, is being adventurous with different styles. I'm not as adventurous with the color. I do like my blondes because I have always wanted to be a real true blonde, and my own hair never really got me there. I pulled a lot of brass all the time, and my hair being so fine and thin, it couldn't take much to get it past that before it would be damaged to high heaven. So that is it, guys. Let's mosey, shall we? Let's mosey on up. First, let's officially, and hopefully I'll get back to my camera, let's officially drop the cue on this. Okay. Oh, no. There we go. All right. That's always fun. I'm going to start this with an applause. It's official. We're going to start answering some questions. I want to look and see what you guys are talking about over here. And we do have some seasoned helper hair wearers with us today that hopefully can also, and maybe they already have, helped with some of your questions. Okay, let me mosey up to the top here, and I'm going to kind of start scrolling down and see if there are any up here a little further before I sort of start cascading down to the newer ones. I have not. Hello, Pam. I don't think I have, but it's possible that I have because I've tried about 5. It could possibly be one of the ones I tried. One of them that I did try, the smell was so strong, there was no way I'd be able to get that on my hair. It was really strong. And one of them was extremely sticky. Couldn't tell you. If I had them in front of me, I'd be able to. And I still have them all, so I should have grabbed them. But I am not sure. I can't say one way or the other if I have. Okay. Oh, okay. Soror. Am I pronouncing that right? You're from Raleigh, North Carolina. Nice. I'm so glad. Hopefully you're still with us. Okay. Let me get past all. Oh, so many of you wished her happy birthday. That's so nice. Okay, here's somebody. Liz, she's one of our seasoned helper hair wearers as well. Let's find out what Liz has for us right now. Oh my goodness, Liz, I love your profile picture. Wow. Okay, for me, I like hair that looks like mine. Dark, slight wave, to my shoulders, lace front, mono top. Yeah, I think that's probably what the majority of people do when they first, especially when they first start too, is they feel more secure doing that as a transition, sort of for themselves and others as well. And that is a great way to go. I didn't particularly love the color of my hair ever, so, or my hair in general. I did what I had to do to get it to look pretty nice until it got to the point where I couldn't do anything with it. But yeah, so being also a hairdresser, I was changing it up constantly, all the time. So that's something that's very sort of, it's in my comfort zone to do that. Okay, here's a question. Have I tried Godiva Secret Wigs? I have never tried Godiva Secret Wigs, actually. I can tell you that they have a lot of really helpful videos out there when it comes to altering your wig caps. Many times I will, if somebody has that specific question, I will refer them to one of their videos because they're excellent tutorial videos. They do a very good job. But I've never tried one of their wigs. Oh, and Sherry says she actually got one of her first wigs from them. Oh, Phyllis, I hope I haven't, well, it's okay if I did. She said this is her first time, and I'm so happy you're having some fun. Yay. I always have fun. I genuinely look forward to these every week. And by the time I'm done and I've usually rewatched and reread comments, I start planning it for the next week. These really are my favorite things to do. Let's see. Okay, Janice. Hi, Janice. She said, I lucked out. I did too. I really did with my first wig. My first wig was Ignite after I saw your video. Love it. I love that. That's awesome. If Ignite were my first video, if you guys watched my first sort of wig chat on Ignite back in 2017, because I want to say Ignite was my third ever wig. It was, let's see, my first one was Elizabeth by John Renault, hand-tied. My second was Raquel Welch, straight up with a twist, loved. My third one was John Renault, Ignite, in shaded praline. And it threw me for a loop because of the permatease. There's not a lot of permatease at all in straight up with a twist, none whatsoever in the hand-tied cap of Elizabeth. So it was my first experience, really. And oh my gosh, I struggled through that entire wig review, wig chat. It actually is quite funny. I was just like, I don't know what to do with this. And it took me a long time to have Ignite grow on me. And I had to put stuff in her because I just felt, but I knew it had potential. So I stuck with it, and it is definitely 100% one of my favorite wigs now. I love it because I can make it look cute, messy, or sleek. It's a lot of fun. Took me a while to get on board with that. Okay. I'm so glad that you really loved it, especially because it was your first wig. Let's see. Oh, no kidding, Beth. No kidding. I think that That is so true. I mean, buckle up. Have a good handle on your budget, because the desire to try so many different ones is there, and the restraint is hard. It really is. To this day, I get so excited, and I'll talk myself into, oh, Jill, you didn't really get anything this month. Go ahead. So good at talking ourselves into that, aren't we? So yeah, it's fun because you finally get hair to play with, to put stuff in, to change up, to finish your look for the day. It is so fun. It is so fun. I mean, look, I did my makeup and I got to put this on my head. I mean, it's just so fun. Oh, Liz also says that they are also her top two. She also likes Henry Margaux, which, as mentioned in a prior live, I have not tried yet. So I'm excited to try one. And I've looked at their styles, and again, I really think their manufactured photos don't give them the best, sort of in the best light. So I have a hard time with sort of choosing one. So if you guys are Henry Margaux, like if you have a few, give me some suggestions. I really always get stumped when I start looking at the Henry Margaux. And she also said Tressallure. I don't think I've ever tried a Tressallure. Have I? I'll have to look. I'll have to look and see. You are so welcome, Sierra. And you know what? I don't know if I have actually said hi to you yet. I'm so happy that you are getting something out of these or out of this today. Okay. Okay, here we have here's sort of a question from Deidre. Deidre says, I'm not a fan of permatease. Is there a way to lessen it without damaging the wig? I have never tried that. I have heard other people try, and I have never tried to lessen it. I tend to lessen it by putting something in it as an accessory, so I don't feel quite so wiggy, and so it pushes that portion a little closer to the plane of my head if it's over the top. And so I'm thinking Noriko, well, there's Kate. That one is a little different. Reese, for instance, I've talked about Reese a few times. I love that wig, actually. It's very cute. Very, very cute. Never have been able to go out of the house without putting a headband in it or some sort of something to just kind of calm it down, because it grows through the day. And before I know it, I look like sort of a pineapple or a mushroom. And it just doesn't work for me to wear it without anything. And it can look adorable, however, in one of those cute headbands. It puffs nicely around it, and it looks adorable. But I got to put something in that one. But I've never, other beyond that, I've never tried to sort of do anything to push it down or anything. Yeah, I do like to get the fibers up and off the cap, and it's so important to do that when you have permatease, because then you can't really see the permatease under there. It would be tricky, but I'm sure many of you have had success. So maybe share what it is that you do there. I didn't like permatease either in the beginning of my hair journey. It wasn't until later on that I began to embrace it and realize its need and importance in certain styles. And because I'm not afraid of big hair, because I love nice crowns, I have grown to appreciate permatease when it's tastefully done, when it's really sort of a part of that style. And again, Noriko can go over the top, way over the top with her permatease, as can a couple other that I've tried. But again, John Renault, Raquel Welch, they utilize it where it needs to be, like in this wig. Just a bit in the crown to give me a really pretty profile, but not over the top. Otherwise it would, because it's a longer wig, these fibers would weigh everything down and it would just sort of sit on the wig cap and then look quite wiggy. So it can go both ways there with permatease. Either it needed it to keep the fibers from doing that, or it's way too much. Nancy wants to know if I'm familiar with Envy. I am not. I have not tried. Can you tell me which one that you did buy that you really did like? I would love to know. I'm telling you guys, I really haven't tried as many brands probably as you think I have. Okay, Beth Breck. Did I already? Oh yes, we've talked about that already. I'm continuing to scroll down, so be a little patient if your question's at the bottom there. Wig Fix works really well, very comfortable. Oh, that's good to know. That Janice, thank you for sharing. Oh, nice, Lauren. Okay, Lauren shared that she did buy Dakota, which is an Envy wig, and she really likes it. So there is something that I'm going to be looking into when we're done here. Yes, Diane, I do have a steamer. Yes, a little steam. Got to move it along. I'm fairly new to the whole steam game. Actually, I do have a nice steamer and I've used it a couple times, and it is a way to really sort of smooth out those fibers that have had that friction damage. They need to be sort of re-smoothed out, and a steamer can help with that for sure. There are things that it's nice to have if you are a wig wearer, and I think a steamer is probably one of those for sure. I also like sort of that Helen of Troy. I did find another brand because the Helen of Troy I can't seem to find anymore. The one that I have, which is a 1.5 inch barrel, but I'll try to remember to put the link down below of the one that I found that looks very similar. It's just not quite a 1.5 inch barrel. And they're blow dry brushes, basically. It's like a blow dryer, but they're plastic. I recommend only the plastic. And you can use them safely because the heat's just warm. It's not hot, which is why I only recommend using a plastic barrel, because if it were ceramic or if it were, sort of metal, it would get too hot for the fibers that are not supposed to have any heat put to them. And they work really well as a gentle way to kind of coax and guide fibers that are acting up. It wouldn't do the same thing as like a steamer if you're really trying to smooth out those prickly ends that have seen better days. Okay, so let's see. Can you recommend any other lace front toppers? I bought a John Renault Easy Part and was so disappointed. You can see the clip at the front of the scalp. Waste of money. Oh, no. Well, my way of wearing something like that is leaving a little bit of my own hair out, and then I sort of push it up and away and over the actual sort of cap beginning of my toppers. But as I mentioned, I think it was not last week, but it was the week before our Friday Live, my hair, no, it was the video that I just put out on how I put a bang in a topper, and I had a topper project. I had a couple things I needed to do to that topper, and that was last week. And I talk about how my hair is receding a little bit. It's getting much thinner, so I'm having a harder time getting a look that I like by doing that with my toppers. So I am on the market and looking for various different choices with the lace front toppers, and or pushing that topper right to the very front of my hairline. If it is I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't be able to do that actually with the Easy Parts because there's just not enough hair there, and it wouldn't look balanced properly if it was really pushed to the very front. But you can try taking that clip out and using a little bit of It Stays and securing it that way in the very front if it bothers you. And if you don't have enough hair to sort of incorporate into the front to kind of hide that a little bit, it also may be something that you're seeing, but someone else wouldn't. We become very hyper-focused on all the details, when in reality, someone wouldn't even catch that. So, detangling sprays, yep, that's important. I have yet to find one that I love, though, that's made for wigs, but they are important. You should do that every time you take your wig off. And something like this, might even want to have a little travel one, just very lightly. Don't overuse those. They will gum up your wig. But they're good to have if you've really got a tangle in there and you just want a little extra help. Okay, Lauren. Hi, Lauren. Hello. So she said that her wig grip slides. Well, with wig grips, you have to be certain that the nap is in the correct position. Okay, so before I put my wig grip on, because not all brands have that sort of, I think the Milano wig grip has like a logo that you need to see on the outside on the right hand side, and then that'll tell you that you have the nap in the correct position. But it's very easy. You just feel it. Does it slide? Because you have to be able to catch the wig, and if it's in the right direction, it'll also catch your hair underneath. So make sure that you have it on right, because if you don't, it's just going to slide with your hair. The wig's going to slide off of it. So the nap of your wig grip needs to be in the correct position. Here is another question for us. Hi, Letitia. Does the It Stays pull out your hair when you take off the wig? Sorry, I'm moving in my chair and it's making a sound. No, it does not hurt at all. If you watch any of my, well, let's see, I think I have my updated how I put on a wig. I will take you through how I also take it off when I use the It Stays. You pull straight up. It doesn't hurt at all. It just doesn't pull your hair. It doesn't hurt. It's not like tape where it smarts when you pull it up. You can see it give, and then you kind of have to go, ugh. But it doesn't hurt at all. I promise you, it does not hurt at all. It really doesn't. It doesn't hurt your hair. It doesn't hurt your skin. It doesn't hurt the wig. It doesn't hurt anything. Water soluble, comes off really easy. It's great stuff. Okay, oh, that is a good question, Lori, and I'm not sure I have a good answer for you. Are certain brands of wigs known to be more dense than others? I don't have enough experience from brand to brand to brand to be able to tell you. And to be honest, it can also vary within a brand from style to style. For instance, my 100% hand-tied Rachel in the John Renault line, although the monofilament, like the front, everything looks good. You can see the part that has so much hair. It is beautiful, but it has a ton of hair. So it's a little heavy. It's very warm. It just overwhelms me. It has so much hair. And yet the 100% hand-tied Elizabeth, that is not anywhere near the same length at all. But just to talk about density, it's very different, very realistic. It's just, so it can vary, unfortunately, from style to style, which is why I look for sort of videos and I can get a look if they're messing with it, sort of like what that density is. You can also compare the same length of wigs within brands as to which one is heavier in the ounces category. Like if you see one that is the same length in different brands, or even within the same brand, and you're like, wow, these are very similar, but this one is so much heavier. Well, that could be the density. There's just more fibers in that wig. It could be the denier. They're just bare fibers microscopically in general. And so they're going to weigh more, but it gives you a pretty good indication if you're comparing apples to apples. Obviously you can't compare a medium shorter wig, the weight, to one that's longer. Also, there tends to be more fibers in a hand-tied cap in general, but that's me being, I guess that's conjecture, but I feel like with the ones I've seen that to be true, and it makes sense. Oh, thank you, Sheila. Thank you. That's very nice. I have not. Hi, Sherry. I'm gonna put you up here. I have not tried any of the silicone ones. Those, for the most part, work if you are completely bald. There are silicone wig grips, but they are designed for people who are bald because you need the skin underneath to keep it there. And so I haven't tried them. I'd be interested to know if you do have hair and you've tried them and you've had great luck, but I'm pretty sure that's what they're designed for. And you know what? I have tried several different brands of wig grips and I don't see any difference. I really don't. The one thing you do have to be careful with any wig grip is that you don't overstretch them, because they will, get overstretched and you're using them over and over, and then before you know it, they stop working. So just make sure you don't have to have that wig grip on too tight. That's not good. That is going to create sort of this sort of pressure that you don't feel maybe right away, but through the day you might start getting some headaches, or it's going to start bothering you. So you don't need to have it on super tight. Anyway, there. Let's see. Yeah. If you bought a silicone grip and you aren't bald, it will slip. I mean, it would just, it's not going to stick to your hair underneath, you know? I have tried the Milano Wig Grip, and I have one on today just for this here live because I don't plan on going anywhere. And to be honest, I will probably sort of take off my wig when I'm done filming. However, guys, hold on. Y'all, I have a box sitting over here, and it is hair mail. So I'm going to be probably filming a wig chat, some sort of helper hair chat today. So I probably will have this on most of the day today. And so be on the lookout for some sort of helper hair chat either tomorrow or Sunday. I'm going to hopefully have it ready to go this weekend. And I am so excited. I haven't even opened it yet to take a look at it. So be on the lookout for that this weekend. I was hoping it was going to come today, and it did. It came pretty much about 15 minutes before we went live today. I'm like, yes, I gotta tell them. I'm very excited. But yeah, they work great. Milano Wig Grips work great. I honestly have not had one not work. So, you know, I have ordered super cheap ones through Amazon with the little lace things. If I am wearing a lace part, I mean, you know what I'm talking about. Monofilament, then I don't want to see the wig grip there even when I'm filming, so I will try to remember to wear one of those, so at least in that part you don't see the wig grip. And I have gotten a 2-pack for very reasonable through Amazon. I may even have a link for at least one of the wig grips that I bought through Amazon in my Amazon affiliate sort of shop there, because it works great and it doesn't cost that much. I feel like, you know, the idea of it and how it works has to work pretty much across the board, right? I mean, they're microfiber, they have a nap, they keep things there, but I don't know. Okay, let me see here. Oh. Okay, Shannon. Well, first of all, congratulations on your weight loss. That deserves an applause right there. It's hard work. And you have recently had some major hair loss, and you're considering hair toppers. Yeah, you know, what I could say to this, now it depends really on, I don't know what kind of topper you end up really getting into, what sort of coverage there is there. But the more coverage you get in your topper, the less you have to really match your own hair perfectly to that topper, because you're going to get a good amount of coverage. Now, that's not to say that when you turn, you're going to see your hair at some point. You know, even with a really nice coverage topper, it's going to pop out in the back. It's going to probably come in the front. When you move your hair certain ways, it may part just a little bit and you'll be able to see it. But honestly, I have never colored my own hair to match the topper I'm wearing. I try to focus on, because I like rooting and I get rooting even in my toppers, I'll try to think, will my hair will that illusion be okay once, you know, with my own hair, with what that color is in that root color? Will my own hair work pretty good with that? And I have colored my hair keeping in mind Shaded Praline's darker root. So at least what will poke through will be more of that color. It creates a contrast, a big contrast, but I think it's kind of pretty. I don't know, it doesn't bother me. So it depends, you know, it depends on what color you're going for and, you know, what look you want. But ideally, I mean, it's the perfect world if you could get your hair colored or matched nicely to your topper. You have to worry less about sort of blending it that way. But I've never really focused on that a whole lot. I guess I don't care. I don't know. But so keep that in mind. You don't have to obsess too much with it, but it depends too on what color. Like if you are very gray or white and you want to wear a brown, well, now you're going to have a problem, you know. That probably did not help you at all. I'm sorry. Okay, let me, I'm going to scroll to the bottom now. It can, Wendy, and you're not kidding. I know. My only HD became too frizzy and to wear after about 2 weeks. But that is true. It is amazing how fast these start doing that. But get yourself some sort of, I love Kenra's Silkening Mist. It's an aerosol spray. It is got some of the silicone in there. Do that every single time you wear it, either before or when you take it off, because it will go in and sort of seal those individual fibers and protect them as much as possible with and from that friction. Get a steamer, experiment with that. Just remember, with steamers, you're pretty much steaming them straight. And if it's an HD fiber, especially, you know, you're putting new memory there. So you will have to recurl it, you know, once you do that. Same if it's a non-HD, because you can carefully use steam on regular synthetic fibers as well. Be careful. And of course, don't ever wear your wig if you're using steam. I feel like I don't need to say that, but I feel like I have to. You know, get one of those cork heads and pin it on there and work with it there. But it will be very straight when you're done regardless. And remember, if it's a synthetic fiber that cannot take heat, you really can't recurl that safely. I wouldn't recommend. But there are things you can do to sort of prolong those HD fibers. Yes, thank you, Dory, for letting her know. I am wearing Spotlight by Raquel Welch in Shaded Biscuit right now. Let's see, I'm scrolling up here. I get asked this a lot. I need to do a little sound effect here to break this up a little. How long would a synthetic HD wig last with everyday use? Okay, that was my mistake. I have to say that was my mistake with my very expensive first purchase of Elizabeth, which is 100% hand-tied HD fiber, John Renault. To this day, it is one of my favorite wigs, but it was my mistake. I thought that it would last me for a good long time. I didn't have a second wig to rotate it, and I wore it every day, and it did not last very long at all. I managed to squeak out more life out of it, but it did. You just cannot wear a wig every single day. You have to alternate other styles in, or the same wig. And I know it isn't budget friendly, but honestly, it saves both of those wigs if you can alternate. And eventually 3 in the beginning is the perfect number, because then you are rotating them even more often and they will all last longer. So wearing the same wig every day, regardless if it's HD or not, is going to really drag it under very quickly. And that was the biggest eye-opener. That was the most disheartening one when I learned that very early on. I couldn't believe it because of how much these cost. In the perfect world, I wish they would come up with a magical fiber. That would not happen to, but it does not exist yet. So there is no number really, honestly. It depends on so much. It depends on how you wear it. It depends on how you care for it. It depends on the length of it and on the brand of the fiber, of the type of fiber. There are a lot of variables there that I couldn't put a date on it, but honestly, it can be weeks if you wear it every day. It could be very, very quickly. It really can. It is disheartening. I'm not even going to paint a rosy picture for you. It was a real big lesson to learn. But I still love wearing wigs, and I just learn different ways to help to baby those ones that need extra babying to make them last as long as I can. And you can. I think I've even come across somebody who has this wig and they've had it over a year, and they do steam it from time to time and they still wear it and it still looks great. So there are things, don't give up on it quite yet. Okay, I'm gonna continue to scroll. I feel like I need to throw in some music or something, but I don't think I have anything. I am just thrilled that my camera hasn't frozen or gone off. It happened about 12 times before I went live. For the last half hour, I got to get things situated, and I could not get the camera to do anything. I switched cameras, I loaded different things, and about 15 minutes before it was time to get on, it went off on me, it froze. I thought, this is not happening. I'm thrilled I've made it this far. Really thrilled. Okay. Oh, you're hearing Loki doing his weird sounds in the background. Oh, I love how you guys are talking to each other. When I rewatch these, I know you probably think it's weird that I do that, but I do it to in real time, sort of see what you guys are talking about. And I love the conversations you have with each other. I love the support you give each other. If you find that I'm not seeing a question, many of you will try to answer it. You guys are so awesome. You really are. I am so proud to be a part of this community. I really am. Oh, really? That's interesting, Lauren. Liz, I can't see tracks, but I have to say that the cap is a bit wimpy on my Envy. Interesting. Yeah, I was thinking to myself here. When you get a really nice sort of wispied look, I'm thinking of Belle Tress in my head right now. They do a really good job at that density. At if you have very fine hair and it were to grow out and it were to do something, a Belle Tress wig sort of represents that very well. Their fibers are probably the finest that I've experienced when it comes to that sort of individual denier. So they raise it and they wisp out. But I do have to say that, if it wasn't for the fact that I'm wearing a root, I do think you could see wefts because of how fine that it is. But with that said, they do it very well because most of these styles that I'm talking and thinking about in my head are a bit wavy. And so it's sort of, you don't really see it. If you're looking for it like we do, then yeah, but nobody else is. And because I do like a darker root, that's how it disguises all of that. And you're left with a very realistic density. But anyway. Yes, you can, because I have done it. RS says, can you soak a wig in Downy fabric softener only to bring back softness? In the beginning, that's what I had to do. And just pay attention to how much water you're using. Err on the side of more water. So if you have a pretty good sized sink, fill it up with cold water and put a capful of Downy fabric softener. I do the one that's made for sensitive skin, so there's not any fragrance in there, and swish it up, and then just really carefully submerge the wig in there, grab a side of it and swish it really carefully back and forth just a couple times and let it sit in there for about 10 minutes. Don't rinse it out. I know that's weird. And just really don't ever wring your wig, okay? And just really carefully start at the top and gently just get the excess water out. And then I take them outside and give them a couple of real good swishes. Bring it back in, lay it really gently in a doubled up towel, kind of roll it around it and push out the excess water. And then I'll put it on one of those dryer wig stands that the air can get through, and it'll dry within a day, overnight or something. And it did save my wigs. It really did. If you have a smaller sink, only use about a half of a capful of the Downy fabric softener. If it's a bathroom sink, I use it in my kitchen sink, which is quite big. So, maybe do a half if you have a smaller sink. Yes, these are fibers. I wouldn't do that with a human hair, right? But these are fibers. They're not hair at all. They're a textile, actually. So it makes sense that it's okay to use it. But the jury's out on that. Honestly, it's quite controversial of whether it will do any bad things. I've done that many times, and I have not had any ramifications of doing so. Not to say some haven't. And I don't know what those variables would have been to cause that, so I don't know. Okay. I'm still scrolling. Let me make it down here to the bottom. Oh. Okay, here's a question. She wants to know what size of square band that I buy. I want to say it's 2. I want to say whatever one is for a regular size head. I don't buy a large size. I want to say it's a 2. I think the owner has let me know because many people ask, and I want to say she says I buy 2. Also, if you buy anything from squarebands.com, I will put the link down below. Make sure you use my coupon code, guys. I don't get anything from it or anything like that. Oh my goodness, what's going on over here? It gives you 25% off. It's Jill25, Jill 25, and you'll get 25% off your order. And it lets her know that I sent you there. But I don't get I don't get anything from that. I get the joy of sending you to her company because it's amazing. She's the kindest lady ever, and I love her product. And it's a woman-owned business, so. Yeah, Liz, you are so helpful, and many of you are. Liz Lyons, I appreciate you every time I see you because I know you're going to really, help out. And I appreciate that, and I know others do as well. And she's not the only one. I see several of you doing that in all of my lives as well. Okay, yeah, I'm very certain then that I do not. Sherry says the large ones are quite large, and you guys, let's see. I'm 21, no, is that right? I'm 21 and a little under 1/4 inch in my circumference. If I'm wearing a wig, even something like Editor's Pick, which has quite a bit of permatease, I can still use the regular size headbands, square bands, and they're fine. They're always going to kind of ride up a little bit. They never sit like down like on your rig if you were to just not wear a wig. But I just push them a little through the day. I just kind of settle them in there through the day. They don't ride up too high. They fit great. Now, if you have a very large head and you're wearing a lot of permatease, I don't know, maybe you would do a large, but I think that most of us can get away with just the regular size, which I think is 2. I hope I'm right. Wow, Liz. Let's get Liz up here. She says she's been wearing wigs since 2013. Well, and she's bought over 100 wigs. Liz, you need to get yourself a YouTube channel. Help us out here. We need another resource. It's never too much. It's never too much. Anyone and everyone out there, it's helpful. That's for sure. Oh, that's okay, Bev. I'm so glad yay! It doesn't matter. I'm glad you're here now. That's awesome. We're usually on here for anywhere from an hour and a half to 2 hours these days. You probably will catch us at some point. Okay. I'm scrolling. If you asked me a question quite a ways up, re-ask it down below if I missed it, because I more than likely just completely missed it. Yeah, probably Lauren, she says that's probably why I don't see tracks with her Dakota, is because it's a dark brown color and it's a little wavy. Yeah, they know what they're doing. They know if they're going to bring that sort of realism to that density, that they're probably going to have to do something about that, and they do a good job. I'm talking about Bill Truss. Any tips for a first-time wearer? Oh, Shannon, do I ever have any? I mean, boy, do I ever. Thank you. I got to hear some laughter from time to time. Thank you. Oh goodness, yes. I would advise you to go to my landing page on YouTube here and put in the search bar new to wigs, and that's a playlist that is going to give you sort of, I try to record things for that playlist specifically with new wig wearers in mind, obviously because of the title, but I try to regress sort of back to where I was then in my wig journey and what I should have known or what I wish I would have known. And that's sort of what that playlist encompasses. So I hope you will find that helpful. I would say don't get paralyzed with too much research. I find that more often than not, whereas I wish I would have done a little more in the beginning, but most of the time now I'm seeing many of you paralyzed with choosing that very first one because you're just gobbling it all up, which is great and you're learning a lot. But the real education comes from your own experience, and that's only going to come with trying different wig brands, different cap features, different colors, different styles, and that shapes your entire experience. So don't get too overwhelmed in the beginning with watching a ton of YouTube videos and really trying to gather all the information that you will ever need before you even get out there, because it can be paralyzing, and I see that a lot. So you just got to find one that excites you, whether it's because you're watching it on a wig review or something, whether it's the color that grabs you or it just, you're blown away by the fact that it's a wig and you get excited. That's the one that you need to try. Maybe it's like, oh my gosh, that's the way my hair used to look back before this happened, or whatever. That's the one you should get. So yeah, you got to jump in eventually, and then you can learn as you go. Okay. Let me see here. I'm gonna scroll up quite a ways here. Oh. I'm reading. I'm just perusing, guys. Don't mind me. I'm just perusing. Oh my gosh. No kidding, Sherry. It really is. I'm going to put applause to that. I think for me, that was the most, gosh, to have this beautiful head of hair that I've never had, honestly. Anytime I wanted it and felt like it is empowering. It's fun. It makes me feel just complete and ready for the day or whatever it is I'm doing. You know, I love doing makeup, as you know, and I like to sit. It's almost like a ritual. I sit here and put my makeup on. I got my lights. Why not? I got all my makeup over here. I have a little tray I can pull close to me and put my laptop over here and watch my favorite YouTubers. I need to drink some water. I just saw this over here. Hold on. And it's sort of a ritual, you know, and when I decide to wear makeup, which isn't every day, I try to make it just a relaxing, fun thing, and I'll have fun and experiment with different looks. And then to decide what hair I want to wear is not just the cherry on the top. It is like the big finale, you know, and wow, it is just so much fun. And I don't know, it's not like I am really shallow and think it's all about hair and makeup. It's just something that makes me feel good. And it makes the aging journey for me more enjoyable. And with all that aging brings us, my goodness, if we find something like that makes it a less of a bumpy ride, because it's not for the faint of heart, as you know, then by lordy, that's what I'm going to do. And wigs really help me in that way. And I'm sure many of you can relate to that. I'm going to scroll down a little bit. Awesome. All right. Hopefully I didn't miss any really great question. I mean, you guys always have a lot of really great questions, and I'm always so bummed when I miss one. But I'm scrolling up quite a ways. Okay, good, Vicky. Thank you so much for letting her know. If you are using the It Stays and you're afraid that you're not gonna be able to get it off, because it can really get on there, and you can pull your wig to high heaven and it's not coming off, and you're like, how am I gonna get this off my head? Honestly, for me, I pull it straight up, and it doesn't hurt to do that. But as Vicky says, you can actually get some water on your fingers and sort of work it under your wig, under the perimeter. Maybe if you even use it in the back, do that. And that water is going to soften that adhesive up, and you'll be able to just take it right off. It does. It's water soluble, so it's easy to take off. It's easy to take off if you got any on your wig, and then I just sort of get it off my hair over the sink, cup the water, get it off, brush through it, and I'll stick one of those square band headbands, and I'm good for the rest of the day. Thank you, Vicky, for that. All right, you guys, you know what? I think we are going to call this one for the day. I hope that you found this helpful if you tuned in. And again, that sort of criteria check off stuff that I do it almost without thinking about it, but it is there, and it's going to be different for most all of you. Once especially you start developing, you've had a few now, and you have grown to know that you love this feature and not this one. So you'll get good at that too. As for like the style and what sort of, how you pick out something that will look good on you, on your face, I wouldn't get too hung up on that, honestly, because just about anything can be. That's why I recommend that you play with it. And if it's not looking good one way, try a different way. Embrace accessories. That is exciting, that you can actually wear accessories and turn whatever that wig is into you. It's not a one size fits all, one style fits all. Look at that in the box as your base style, as your starting point, and then start making it you. And if it captured your attention, there was something about it that you liked, and you can make it work. All right, I am going to let you guys go for now. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I absolutely enjoy these. Look out this weekend for a helper hair chat of some sort. It's either going to be hitting here tomorrow or Sunday. Super excited for that. And have a lovely weekend and a great week ahead. I'll see you guys next Friday, 1 p.m. Pacific. 4 p.m. Eastern. Bye-bye.